to Let's Talk. Let's Talk aims to create national conversation on the issues of the day. Your host this evening, senior newsman Gary Moreno.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Let's Talk, where we're going to be talking heritage and the theme of Heritage Month, Green Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow. And joining me to discuss this theme will be Mr. Andrew Vaucrosson, and these gentlemen are all from the organization Greenrock, Mr. Eugene Dean and Mr. Gladwyn Simmons. Now, we are supposed to be showing you a small documentary, a 20-minute documentary called Stuff. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but we're going to sort that out. Intrepid Ilston Chapman is sorting that out for us, and we're going to have it on the air in due course. Gentlemen, you all are behind this concept for the theme of Heritage Month this year. Why did you all come up with that concept?
Well, I can chime in on that and say that actually we have to give credit to the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs. They're the ones who are responsible for organizing events around Heritage Month, and they came up with the theme Green Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. And the theme is geared around highlighting our lifestyles previously and how sustainable they were. And the goal is for us to look at our situation today, where we're recognizing that we're not as sustainable as we could be. Look at what we did in the past, take from there, and also utilize the new technologies that are available to us today to ensure that our lifestyles are more sustainable tomorrow. And that's the basic concept. And with that in mind, they've called upon us at Greenrock to get involved. And we have been tasked with the responsibility of putting together these programs to raise awareness about sustainability and the environment. So it's an exciting time for us. The theme at Greenrock is changing mindsets. So we're hoping that with these programs, we can help to raise awareness about the social, economic, and environmental issues that come along with sustainability. And that when people are made more aware, that we can make more informed choices going forward.
Now, we had the two members of the sustainability unit,
right,
here a couple of weeks ago, and we were having the same discussion, whether sustainability even matters to them. And one of the things, I'm sorry to say, Andrew, is that the feeling was that only white people are interested in that kind of thing. Blacks are not overly concerned about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I'm not 100% white, but the truth of the matter, at least from my perspective, is that sustainability takes a bit of time. And the real challenge is to make it so that it's accessible to everybody. And that's one thing that Greenrock is really trying to do. We recognize that, I think, over the years, the people that had or could afford the time, who can afford getting involved in environmental issues, whereas there's lots of people who are struggling just to make ends meet. And so they've got far more priorities on the table. But the reality is that the cost of living on this island is increasingly getting more and more expensive, whether you're talking energy costs, whether you're talking education, whether you're talking just clothing, anything. And the sustainability theme really starts to touch on that, because it tries to encompass not just the environment, so obviously your surroundings, your physical surroundings. It tries to tackle the economy, which is something that I'm very sort of keen on. And it also tries to tackle the social issues, because I think some of the things that you see today is very social economic. We talk, obviously, race has been a big thing that's been used as a leverage point for politics, for all sorts of different situations. But one of the things that falls in that is the social economic division that exists. And you see that cropping up in many different sectors, whether you're talking in education, whether you're talking in jobs, whether you're talking just even blue-collar work, the division between certain blue-collar careers and other blue-collar careers. The other thing that I think is very important from what Greenrock has tried to really focus on is that sustainability has become a bit of a political
Football as well.
football, which has been used to say, hey, we're doing something. And the unfortunate thing, and we've said this from the get-go, meaning Greenrock has said this from the get-go, it's not something that's going to be driven by politics. It's not going to be driven by politicians. It's going to be driven really by the community. And that is part of the reason.
Again, no, I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked Charles Brown when he was here.
Sure.
Is the community buying and they're dealing with more bread and butter issues?
Yeah, well, you know, if you think about some of the things that we've managed to get, like, for example, when we did the CFL campaign, which we basically gave out free CFLs for every incandescent bulb. So the regular bulbs trading in for the CFL. And we had about 2,000 of these bulbs given away for free. We had close to 1,000 people who participated. We surveyed these people at the time we exchanged it. 80% of those people never, ever bought a CFL before. The fact is, a lot of those people who were coming out were now looking at something for the first time. That cost of that CFL, as a result of that campaign, went from an average price of $9 to $14 a bulb to about $2.50 to $4.50 a bulb. So now, right there, it makes it affordable for people to just at least participate in something that wouldn't have been affordable if we didn't do that.
What's the CFL?
See, it's compact fluorescent bulb.
All right.
The bags, the reusable bags, the shopping bags, you know.
Which have become something of a fashion statement now.
Well, yeah, and it's being utilized, but that's a big factor. That's something that's going to help. There is so many other things. We're working on the duty tariff side. We're trying to, for example, one of the things that has come up is this renewable energy stuff, the solars and all that sort of stuff. But we're actually trying to take it even further and trying to look at organic materials and other things that are very good for you, try to see how we can get some kind of duty relief there. So at the end of the day, our focus really is to try to get to ways in which the general public can experience what sustainability is all about in real terms.
Now, Glad, Eugene was telling me some time ago that you guys had some showings of these of the documentary stuff, and what he was saying to me is that a lot of the younger people seem to be interested. A lot of the students seem to be interested. The older people, the adults, were basically glazed over. Their eyes were basically glazed over when the discussion time came up. Do you think that perhaps this whole sustainability initiative is in good hands, or there is hope for it yet?
Yeah, I feel that, everything is about how you strategize, the people have interest in anything that is to their benefit. It's who's bringing it forward, right? What's the agenda? You know what I mean? What's the energy that's put behind it? All right? Most things, right, that the public are concerned about, they gravitate to it depending on what is bringing it, who is bringing it, okay? Like crime, for instance, is a social issue. It's an environmental issue. So it's a social environment. How do we address it? Who is bringing it forward? All right, the UBP, the PLP, who is bringing it? Okay, because everybody separates themselves into camps. You know what I'm saying? We need to deal with things where we understand all the camps. That's why we have the theme in Emperial, unity in the community, because we feel that if we're going to address things and have any impact, we have to know how to deal with the dynamics of bringing everybody together around it, So it's a strategy thing. Everything's about strategy.
Now, Greenrock is as the name suggests, a green movement, so to speak.
Yeah.
How did you become involved in all this socio-economic and...
Yeah, can I pick up on just one of the points?
Sure.
That you were saying the students. This is something that Eugene has been very much involved in, and some others, where we're actually doing a school roadshow. I think in addressing what Glad has said, one of the things that does exist is there's a lot of separation when it comes to the community, in politics, social economic sectors. But when you get to the students, at least, there's a chance for at least this community message to really take root. And they are the ones who have eventually are going to be responsible for taking care of this island. So, and they are also the ones who are hopefully getting into these households. And we have a very strong push towards the public school system. The private school system, they seem to kind of get it, and I think addressing to your issue that you said earlier about all the people who can afford to do it, they're into it. But we're also trying to give them a message that is more meaningful to them, something that it's achievable. A case in point, for example, these bottles. Typically